Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creatively on Sunday the 13th of July 2025 with FLOSSTUBE number 275. Welcome back to my weekly YouTube channel about counted cross stitch on a quite bright sort of cloudy day. I've had lots of rain and it's sort of not raining right now, but it's very glary. Also my glasses are absolutely filthy. I might have to stop and go clean them. Actually, I'm going to go clean them. Wow, that's significantly different. There you are. can see for miles now. Yeah, clean glasses. Also cleaned my screen, my camera, phone. What are we doing? Right, yeah, it's very bright. It's at 10 a.m.-ish Sunday morning. So I'm going to squint a little bit because me and sunlight, we're not at all friends. We do not get on at all. What's this last week been like? Yeah, heads up, I don't have 17,000 stitches to show off this week. It's still good effort, but yeah, the last week was phenomenal. I don't even know what happened. I think I needed to preface my stitching quotient with also, did any housework get done last week? No. so the week that I did all the stitching, there was, I was working extra, but that working was sitting with Teams open on my phone, just keeping an eye on what was going on and periodically checking in. So I sort of had to stay home to check that, and I just did a lot of stitching. Not quite as prolific this week, but that's fine. It was a pretty, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't the most fun week. Just to give some context, this is a year ago. I was up, I was up with my dad, having picked up my sister and brother-in-law from Auckland, and this was his last week. So I've been pulling together photos and things to do like a photo gallery, I guess, at his memorial unveiling next weekend. And every now and then I'd have a photo come through and I'd just like burst into tears. So emotions have been a bit fragile of late, and just, add some work stress, add some other stuff that's going on, and, just some other challenges that making life a little bit tricky at times. And yeah, I just was really a little bit fragile last week. So that meant I had a few tears and felt like going to bed not getting up for like a month. But I'm glad I got up, so got through that. But yeah, it's it's Dad's anniversary. So next weekend, we've got his unveiling of his memorial and the wall of remembrance in the Kawerau cemetery. So it'll be a quick trip up. I'm flying, heading to the airport after work on Friday. Nope, after lunch on Friday. And I'm gonna have to do something about that sun. It's a bit better. I just had to pull one of the curtains a bit. I've got sunshades, but still too bright. So you're heading up to Rotorua, just flying up. And I arrive about 5 p.m. I think, and my sister and brother-in-law, after a very long trip over, because their Brisbane to Auckland flight got rescheduled, and they are now going Brisbane, Sydney, Auckland, Rotorua. So I think about 12 hours for them to get to Rotorua, which is about an hour or 45 minutes away from where Dad used to live. Renting a car, staying with extended family in Whakatane or Awakere. Dad's memorial is 11 a.m. on the Saturday at the cemetery, followed by, a cup of tea, light refreshments back at Lou's house where we're staying. And then that evening we're having a just open kind of potluck dinner, and then in the morning up early I fly back to Wellington around 10 a.m. and my sister and brother-in-law fly back to Australia via Auckland about just after lunch, I think. So yeah, very quick trip, but it's all about sending Dad off and So I've just got a lot going on, organising all that, trying to, got all these photos coming in, trying to put them into a good order, writing a bit of a, I guess it's a eulogy, or I don't know what you call it. And it's hard to do it. So this next weekend, so it's just been a kind of a, interesting week or so. But it'll be fine. Things happen to everybody eventually. I think that's kind of it. I did catch up. Had plans yesterday, kind of had to get cancelled because a couple of friends couldn't make them. So then I filled in those slots with other things. I picked up some charts that I bought secondhand, so I'll show you them shortly in my haul. And then had catch up with Judith. I wanted to drop off a chart that I had borrowed from her, that little, what's it called? That little chirp away chart that I finished a few weeks ago. Dropped that back to her, and then picked up something I purchased from her charity. I'll show you that. I don't know where I put it. It's barely stitchy related, but I'll show you anyway. Then had coffee, picked up another friend who's out of work at the moment, and took her out for a sort of a treat, a coffee and cake and a catch up. While we were out in Petone having coffee, there's this little shop called Goody Goodness. Just want to shout it out. Small business, sort of New Zealand or locally created gifts and artisan products and things that, all of the creators are local in the region, Wellington region, and the lady who have a good chat to her, who owns it, she said, that she tries to source things that are kind of sustainable, and so it's very, quite heavy on the New Zealand sort of themed things, but not that kind of kitschy souvenir-y stuff, because that stuff's available elsewhere. I think the majority of the stuff she has, she sort of sells on behalf of, a bit like a commission process, so she's not having to outlay, the money up front and stuff. Recommend it. Check them out on Facebook, Goody Goodness, and just go down. She said it's been a tough year, so if you can go and spend a little bit of money, shop local. I did buy something, so I love art, and I just loved this little jiggly print of, what does it say? I'm just going to read the back. Anyway, I'll show you it. It's a tiny little framed print of a piece of art by Judy, I can't read that, Judy Lapsley Miller. And so this is a ruru or moorpork, and it's a New Zealand native owl, and New Zealanders will be very familiar. You're out in the wop-wops, like where I live, of an evening you'll hear the sort of solitary call of a moorpork or ruru in Te Reo Māori. So this is called Tiny Art. It's artbyjlm.com, tiny art, fine art, archival, jiggly prints, hand framed from upcycled offcuts. So again, that whole sustainable thing, working with a framer that is using offcuts from bigger framing projects, reducing what's going into landfill. We like that. I know that Art and Frame do similar things. They make up little frames. I've purchased frame from them and framed my own things. And it's got a, a reference number. So framed with True Value Ultra View glass, so 70% UV light rays blocked. And also the purchase of them includes a 10% donation from the artist to Zealandia. So Zealandia is a Wellington sanctuary for native birds, and it has a huge predator fence around it, and it goes up into the hills above like Karori and Brooklyn and stuff, so you can walk along the edge of it, and yeah, so there's kiwi and all sorts of native birds in there. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So I just loved it. And this little dude, I walked around the shop a few times and this little dude just kept looking at me. And I was just like, oh, I couldn't not take him home. So that's my little purchase yesterday was this, yeah. So as an example of the sort of thing, they have all sorts of stuff like pottery and jewellery and other paintings that aren't necessarily New Zealand birds, you know, coasters and all sorts of stuff, all sorts of beautiful things. So do check out Goody Goodness on Jackson Street, Petone, if you have a few bucks to spend and want to support local. So yay, do them a bit for local economy. And then also not sort of stitchy, but stitchy adjacent, because Judith made it. What I picked up from her, she's been making these little wristlets out of, oh God, what's this stuff called? Webbing, I guess. Oh God, I don't even know if that's the right word. And it's like for your keys, you know, you can put your keys on it or whatever and find them in your handbag and stuff. She made a bunch of these to fundraise for Outport, and she had made some for a particular function she was going to, and I guess had some left over, and I went, okay, I'll grab one. So it says handcrafted on it, and I grabbed one because it's cool and going to a good cause, helping cat rescue, a local cat rescue. What else did I pick up this week? Okay, so mentioned that I had to go into Wellington to pick up some charts that I purchased. Went a bit mad. So a local lady had some charts. She did a bit of a de-stash, I guess. You know, she said your taste change and what have you. So I picked up, I'd said to her, look, I'll buy these 3. But I also said if these other ones were available come the Saturday morning when I went, I would buy them from her as well. Because, you know, I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, so the main reason, so you can ignore the stickers. These are just, I guess, that she had priced them as to what she'd originally paid for them. So these 3 I bought for like $19 or $20. But I'd always wanted to stitch this. Well, I've seen Matters Choice stitched often, and I kind of I put it in my cart, never really purchased it, but it was available, you know, lovely price. And then also, I'm a fan of Sampler Co. Why did I say sampler? We don't say sampler in New Zealand. Sampler. I'm a fan of Sampler Cove, and I have a couple of their charts already that I haven't stitched, and they're quite massive. And anyone who's followed Caroline from Evertote or from Friday Off the Grid Needle Arts, for years she was working on Amtrak. I think she was using a Vicky Clayton hand-dyed fibres soot pack or conversion from way back, like when Vicky Clayton was dyeing the first time round. And I believe she finished this a year or so ago. It's really lovely. Anyway, I purchased that one because it was available, and I've always liked it, and the photos on these are very blurry. I'm not taking it out of the packet. And then I also grabbed this one, Taking Flight, and I'm tempted to start this one probably first, just because my dad was a pilot. Maybe I'll stitch this for Dad. I'd probably change the colours. They're both a similar colour palette. I'd probably change the colours. I think from memory, from Caroline showing them, they have 2 or 3 colours in them. We shall see. But anyway, purchase those. This is like 370 something square. It's quite big. They're the main reason that I said I'll purchase some stuff. But then basically there was an opportunity to purchase this set. And at some stage, it's going to make its way into the community. I'm kind of tempted almost to offer them on like a library service almost. You want to borrow them. I want to keep the set together, but I also want to make sure that they're available for people. I don't know. Maybe I'll stitch them myself one day. I don't know. They're fun. But I bought the Victoria Sampler Alphabet Sampler series from this lovely lady, and it's all 24 booklets. There are 24 because X, Y, and Z are on the same booklet. So it's all 24 in excellent condition. If you're not familiar with them, they are typical Victoria style. Lots of silk and some beads and some charms and lots of embroidery stitches. With very, if anything, they're really good. I'm going to show you. She sort of shows you if you want to put them all on one piece, how to lay that all out. But they have lovely clear instructions for the various specialty stitches, embroidery stitches. So just a really good reference. And I sort of, who knows? Again, probably they retail for about, I think, $400 to have all these. There used to be accessory packs available. I don't know if the accessory packs are still available, but they're the sort of thing where mostly it's the silk. So there's overdyed silk. The accessory packs contained overdyed silk, silk floss, silk perlé, metallic threads, beads, and a couple of them I think had charms. I remember seeing one had a music charm, like a note. And totally could use substitutions, totally could use cotton, overdyed cotton. I'm all for like, yeah, I don't even know if the accessory packs are available anymore. However, beautiful resources. I want to keep them all together. I think, I don't know, they would only be available for local yokels. But if anyone's interested in borrowing, it has to be like, people need to borrow them and get them back. You know what I mean? Like if someone said, oh, well, I'll start. I don't even know. I'm still thinking about it. But kind of want to keep them all together. I want them to either go to a good home or my home's a good home, but I kind of want them to be used. I am tempted to stitch them myself one day, but as one whole piece. Like I wouldn't do the individual belt pulls with, but they're kind of cool. Anyway, and each of them has, you know, A for something. So A is for angel, but they also have all sorts of other things on there that is A. So we've got like on this one, like an aardvark, an ant, an aardvark, an arrow, I guess. A lowercase a, an apple, an axe. So all sorts of things that begin, so they're kind of fun. You know, this one B is for has butterflies, but done in like in a specialty stitch. I guess beetle, beehive or bee skip, blah blah blah. Kind of fun. Anyway, I just bought them from her because it was an opportunity to make sure that they get some time in the sun, really. Anyway, they are now in my hot little possession. I guess gentle and like don't overwhelm me, but if I've got them. So if anyone was interested in borrowing, like, and I wouldn't probably send all 24 out, maybe I'd take a deposit. Like, you know, you want to make sure that they come back within a reasonable time frame. Like, I don't want to send one out and it sits out there for 5 years. But I don't know. Or if someone wants to buy the set, let me know. I don't know. It's just that I just wanted to make sure that it went to a good home. What else is new? It's quite a bit today. I got my Tom and Lily threads for June came in. Thank you for your order. So June is, hi there, take a peek at the June Thread Pack Citrus Mix, a carefully curated selection delivered right to your door. This month's theme captures the zingy colours of citrus fruits, blending fresh pigments and unique dyeing techniques to create a bright, tangy palette perfect for your seasonal stitching projects. So freebie, we get a cup of tea typically with every pack, every thread club, a bag of our fabulous thé vert green citron tea. So, and here are the colours. They are beautiful. I haven't put them on the thread drop sheet because I've been too busy gallivanting around town. Oh my gosh, I cannot hold 10. So the Tom and Lily Thread Club is 10 skeins of 8 meters of overdyed threads, and this month is just delicious. I have to smell them because whatever mordant that Melanie uses for her threads has this slight lemony scent to it, so very fitting this time round. Aren't they beautiful? So I think some of these are from her regular range because they've got names. Orange Sanguine, Potiron, or Pamplemousse Rose, Oranges and Lemons, Citron, Lumiere, Lemon and Lime, Citron Vert, and Bergamot. Ta-da! Very happy with those. So they came in. What else? Funny story. A couple of weeks ago, Art and Frame down in Christchurch had said, oh, here we've got some, I guess, fancy fabric and, you know, get it while it's hot kind of thing. Couldn't say no. So I put in an order for 3 sort of fat quarters. Yeah, 3 fat quarters of 2 weeks and a R&R. And then, I don't know, it's been, as I said, it's been a weird couple of weeks, been busy, blah, blah, blah. Like Wednesday, sometime during this week, I was sort of sitting at my desk at home, you know, thinking, oh, I haven't had that parcel from Art and Frame. That's really unusual. But then I'm like, well, I know Tanya hurt her ankle and they're probably down short-staffed, but I must message Karen and say, hey, just checking, is everything okay? Is my parcel, when can I expect my parcel? And then I kept forgetting to message. And I sort of happened to glance down to the right of me on the floor where I store things. And I was like, oh, what's that? And there's these 3 pieces of linen on the floor sitting on top of the New Zealand Post mailing, you know, plastic bag from Art and Frame. So I'd already opened the damn thing. I have no memory of it arriving. I have no memory of it being opened. I must have opened it at my desk because hence them being carefully stored on the floor. So I had to message Karen and say, you won't believe what a dingbat I am. I was about to message you asking where my parcel was. I already had it. Sorry. I got 3 pieces of linen. Who knows what's going on? I'm not going to take another plastic bag. So this first one is a fat quarter of 40 count angel hair from Zweigart. A lovely soft cream, slightly more buttery than cream maybe. It's a pretty good colour there, I think. So 40 count, excellent. And then I've got a 36 count mocha from Zweigart. And I mean, I don't mind, I'm okay with it, but I have to say, this is their old, so they started dyeing on Zweigart linen, gosh, like 2021 or something. This is not, so there's obviously like, people just didn't like buying it because it's loose. I don't mind it, but this is their non-Zweigart as well. I don't mind it, but obviously trying to get rid of it, but whatever. I'm happy to get it. So mocha 36, and then there was a quarter of, I got 36 count Brenda's Brew from R&R Reproduction. So very rare we get R&R in New Zealand. I love that colour. So with those, because why wouldn't I? And then the last thing I purchased is this. So it's from Maximum Cross Stitch, and it's the Jane Wood 1853 pincushion. So Ellen Reid has charted for their September, for sampler September, I believe. Ellen has charted a reproduction of this massive chart, and it's this beautiful it's massive, because I've seen Caroline from Evertote and Ellen did a video a few weeks ago, and they showed the framed model, and it's absolutely ginormous. So it's this huge pink house surrounded by a lovely garden. It's really beautiful, but I'm just not going to stitch it. It's too big. But Ellen also did this mattress. It's a mattress style, what do you call this? Pincushion. Now, if you buy this, if you buy the whole chart from, either you can buy the PDF from Maximum Cross Stitch, or you can buy the booklet, and I believe that they've got kits as well available if you want from Evertote. If you buy this chart, you get this included, but you can just buy this. So I just bought this one because it's lovely. So it's a match. I haven't got a picture of it. It's obviously a version of the big house, big pink house, and then around the edge you stitch 4 times this little floral band, and then you use the same fabric on the back. You just stitch a square, and then you put it all together as a mattress pincushion. Beautiful. So I will start that because I'm going to stitch all the things in September, but I'll play along with the Sampler September with Evertote, and I won't be using Roxy Floss Co. I do have a Roxy Floss. I might be able to get one Roxy Floss in the grey maybe, but the rest of it will probably be Tom and Lily. And so it's a collaboration, the Sampler September stitching collaboration with Maximum Cross Stitch, Evertote and Roxy Floss. And I've got some fabric. It comes with a full alphabet as well, so you can personalise it. I've got to use this. I think it's 40 count. I've just got a couple of little offcuts of 40 count, just antique white, I think. And I've got like a little strip as well. I don't think I even need that little strip, but this is enough to stitch all 4 of the little bands in, and then I could use this, can fit 2 of the squares, like the back and then the house, and then I'll have a little bit left for some other thing maybe. But I'm just going to use that. I'm just going to kit it up myself with, there's a DMC conversion as well as the Roxy Floss. I do actually have a couple of the colours. I've got Plum Shadow, because I had that from, Plum Shadow was in my one that I got the flosses. It was a Jacob one with the bestow your arms whenever you see an object of necessity. That one, I can't remember what it's called. Whatever that's called, I remember the motto. Anyway, very excited. So I'm going to be so busy in September. And then that was the last thing I purchased. The lights has gone weird now. Sun's gone behind a cloud. I also, coming up in August, will be a Modern Folk Embroidery start. I showed this a while ago. I purchased the quintessential, what's it called? Quintessential Frisian Smalls. So I'm not going to start till August, but 1st of August I'll start stitching. And this is a 5-month project, August, September, October, November and January, where you stitch one of these smalls and then you learn a technique, a finishing technique, or maybe how to make a tassel or what have you. So you can also, it's another collaboration with Modern Folk Embroidery, Roxy Floss Co, Evertote, but I just bought the chart from Jacob. And then I had some white 40 count linen. I want to do it on 40 count, and I went to dye at a whatever, and I messed up my ratios. I did tablespoon instead of teaspoon. I love the colour it is. It's possibly a little dark, but I don't think it is. So dye my own fabric. And it's very similar. A little bit lighter. Very similar to Brenda's brew. A little bit more orange in it. So this, if you want to make this colour fabric on 40 count linen, I'll tell you how I did it. 40 count linen, rinse it under hot water to remove some of the sizing. Boiled a jug to near boiling. So I've got one of those jugs that you can push different buttons, so to 90 degrees Celsius. In 4 cups or a litre of near boiling water, I put 3 tablespoons, and I meant to do teaspoons, but I did it. 3 tablespoons of taupe, or taupe as we would have said back in the 80s. 3 tablespoons of taupe and a 1/4 teaspoon of the orange one. Oh, what's it called? This is, what's that dye called? Rich liquid dye. So it's the orange, bright orange, or summer orange, the bright orange one. And that gives you this colour. I meant to reduce it. So that's I used exactly the temperature, I used exactly the amounts that were in the booklet that you can print offline, but that amount is meant to be for a large amount of water, like gallons of water. I don't know how much. And I did it for like a litre, and I meant to kind of half the amount, and I threw the orange in first, and I did the 1/4 teaspoon. So then I forgot that I'd done that, so I'd halved the amount of the taupe, and then of course it was bloody orange. The whole thing was quite orange, so I then just had to add in the rest. Oh, and I also put in probably 1/2 teaspoon of salt, just to act as a bit of a fixative. So that is it. I squelched it around in the dye. I didn't leave it in for very long because I knew that my dye was going to be darker than what I originally planned. So it's not that dark. It's quite nice. And then I rinsed it under hot water and then dried it and then ironed it. So that's how I did that. 4 cups of near hot water, near boiling water, with 3 tablespoons of taupe and 1/4 teaspoon of the bright orange. It's got orange in the name. I can't remember what it's called. It's that one there. This is a really random size, obviously a piece of fabric I cut out of, but it's plenty. You need about 1/4 to do, or 40 count to do the Frisian smalls. That is what I'm going to be starting the 1st of August. And what threads am I going to use? Well, I went through my overstock, and I've got a whole bunch of 902 that are old and are different, totally different dye lots. I've actually even got, so I've got these 3 that are very similar. They're close enough. I think you can see they're actually different dye lots, but they'll be fine. I also have 3 other skeins of 902 that are a different dye lot again, but I'll probably bring them in. I don't know how much I need. I've got the chart, but it's like a 45-page booklet that I don't want to print. I don't know how much you need, but given we've got to make a little bit of cording for around there and for up here and a tassel, I figure I'm going to need at least a couple of, at least a skein for the cording. Not lots of cording. And yeah, if I have to bring those other couple of skeins in, I'll do that. Like they're very similar, but I'm just going to use that because I've got heaps of it in my stash, and I think that's going to look really nice, even though this is a little bit darker than what I originally planned. I had thought about using this one that came in, the angel hair, but I don't really want burgundy. I think the burgundy makes it look more yellow. And I've got plans for this for something else. So this is supposed to be a YouTube channel about stitching, so I should really show you some. Okay, Sunday and then Monday I carried on with my women in profile because I was just about 19, 18, whatever stitches, 100 stitches shy of my July goal. I'd had 3 months to catch up. Being May, June and July. So this is Women in Profile by Cross Stitch Collectibles. A full coverage detail from Artwork by Victoria Sechin, and I'm stitching mine on 20 count Aida, the colour Nougat from Zweigart, using the Charter DMC. This is a hashtag leap year sale 2024. And one of my 2 pieces that I'm stitching over the 4 years. So we will finish this on Leap Day in 2028. Damn it, Janet. So where I left this last week was sort of halfway-ish, partway to my July goal. And I needed to stitch 1,762 stitches to get to my end of July goal, 43,384, and I got exactly that. So we are all up to date now with both of my leap year sales. Actually quite happy to take a break, but I certainly did get quite a lot done on this over those last couple of weeks because, you know. So here is the whole thing. That's where we're at. There are still little patches here and there. I didn't do a lot of confetti over those last few weeks given I was doing catch up, so she got, you know, expanded in all sorts of different directions. But over the last last week, those 1,700 stitches, a lot of them were in here, filled in a lot of that. There's a lot more, and little bits here and there, a little bit in here, a couple of those creams. But mostly in here was the focus for the 1,700 stitches. So yeah, there's still the odd little gap in here and in here, but you know, that's all solid, and I love it. So this is the thing she's holding that has the crown, I think it's a crown on it, or jewels. So that is yay for being up to date with that piece. It's amazing how putting stitches in fills in some holes. What else did I do? I then grabbed Keeper of the Pins. This is by Brenda Gervais, from with Thy Needle and Thread label. It's a little booklet. I'm doing this as an extremely loose stitch along with Judith and Narissa. I'm stitching mine on, was sort of a mist-dye or a remnant from Country Stitch. It sort of measures around 34-ish count. Who knows what it's supposed to be, doesn't matter. And I'm using mostly the Charted. I swapped out silk for the red, so I'm using a Silks for You instead of DMC 22, which is kind of ironic given DMC 22 is one of my favorite colors, but I wanted an over dye, so this, and I've got heaps of this silk. So I did this, yeah, started this year in March at the Christchurch retreat. I just start and finish of the sewing. I'm telling lies. I did needles and threads first at the Christchurch retreat, started it. Then when I got back, I started start and finish on that one, which is called the Sewing Bird. And then I did a start and finish on the 9th of July for Threads of Time Pincushion. So it's that one there. So very, as you can tell, probably a very quick stitch, given you have, you know, the spool, lots of rows of white, you know, your tomatoes, and then add a few beads. So I've just got a pack of, I had a partial pack of slightly these white pearl looking beads that were in my stash. So I'm just, whenever it's called for the pin tops, I just add the beads on. So I've done 3 now. They're all going to be little cushions. So that's the first one that I talked about, the needles and threads. That's the stitching bird, the sewing bird, and then that is the Threads of Time Pincushion. Cute. So sort of halfway, there are 5 official cushions, but there's also the 6th one where you just stitch one of the little, I think it's that same little tomato in the middle of a bit of fabric, and then you surround it with vintage beads. That's not charted per se, it's just, you know, give it a crack really. I don't know if there's a picture. So there's a picture there of what that one looks like. But all I've got now is just, and also I want to make a tomato or two eventually, but we're so ambitious with our finishing. So I've got to stitch the Dame of the Needle is that one. And that's probably one of the fussier ones. And then another real, probably basically simple one. The, what's it called? Red Sampler Pincushion. Be a pretty quick one. Basically an alphabet and a tomato. That won't take long at all. Yeah, so I'll just put that away. I'll pick it up again in next month or something maybe. So that's, I guess, a little start and finish for whatever month we just had, June. And then I, yesterday, I picked up, I might have picked, I feel like I stitched on something else, but I don't know what it was. Went to a movie on Thursday night, so I didn't stitch then. I don't know what else I might have stitched on. Never mind. I picked up my ink circles, Forest for the Trees. I can't remember where I was there. There's like 34% or something. Love this, and I'm stitching this. Don't know where my little card is. Here, no, I don't know where the card is. It's on a 40 count that I stitched, that I dyed myself, but I'm using all the charted flosses. But I can't find my card. I started this a couple of weeks, or maybe 3 weeks ago I started this on the 1st of winter, 1st of June. I don't remember when I started this. I don't know where the card is. But yeah, I'm at now 54%, so got a good whack in last night. Love it. I might have started this Friday night. I don't really remember. I don't remember what I did Friday night. I feel like I stitched. Friday night would have been the 11th. I don't know. I don't know what I did. It's all a blur. That's all the things I stitched on this week. You all know how I hate a long video, but here we go. I did pull some stuff to show you because I didn't think I'd rabbit on quite so long about other random stuff. So I pulled 4 things. One of them not actually my finish, but it's a finished gift from someone else. So what I've brought to show you from my previous finishes, my stash of stuff, pomegranates. So I brought my pomegranate themes out. I'm about to start another pomegranate sampler as part of my stash sampler starts, and I feel like when I finish that one, I'm going to then have 4 to frame, 5 pomegranate pieces. That's enough for me to call it a collection. My pomegranate, I love pomegranates. I love eating them. I love things that with pomegranates, and I just love pomegranates. So I will have a pomegranate cluster at some stage, and they're all very different, which I love as well, the fact that they are very different. And the one I'm starting is a very traditional looking sampler, which none of these are traditional looking samplers. So first up, we've got from back in 2020. This was a really quick stitch. I started it on the 10th of November 2020 and finished it on the 22nd of November. Pomegranate Quaker from Our Forest Embroidery. I stitched mine on a random piece of 32 count granite Belfast from Zweigart using, I think there were 4, from memory, 4 Victorian Motto Sampler Shop threads. I was part of the Floss Club back then. And here she is. So yeah, a riff on that Quaker kind of style with those, but turning the Quakers into pomegranates. And I loved this. I love it so much. I love it on the granite, because you know me, I don't love a white fabric, and I just can't even. It's a favourite, and it's sitting in the cupboard waiting to be framed, because you know, money. Money is the only reason. Next up, this jump forward to 2023. I'm missing one. Oh, I already showed you one. I'm missing a card. I have to go find a card. Honourable mention. I'll show you this one first. They're all going to be out of order. Honourable mention. I haven't got the picture. Because I already showed you this one in my when I showed you samplers that were stitched with 2 or 3 colours, and it was the black and grey one, pomegranate sampler from Fox and Rabbit Designs. That one I showed you a month or so ago. So on 40 count apricot dream linen by Country Stitch using CGT Felix and Cloudy Jack. So I've already showed you that one a few months or so ago. Not going to go and find it again, but I am missing a card for this one. I have to go find it. I'll just put some details on the screen. I can't remember who this is. Not Tempt. It's by, and it's called Pomegranate Sampler, I believe. It definitely feels like Weeks Dye Weeks fabric. You know, the pre-Zweigart one, I'm pretty sure. And it's using my own floss conversion, it would have been Victorian Motto and Tom and Lily. Like the green is definitely Tom and Lily. And I remember ordering an extra skein of it because I ran out of it. I had received it from a floss club, but it was one of her standard ranges. The name of it's on the tip of my tongue. And yeah, and the reds were Victorian Motto, and the goldy colour would have been from Tom and Lily as well. And I love the simmer. More recently, Friends of the Heart. I don't remember when I searched that one. Friends of the Heart by Plum Street Samplers. So I was going to, do I show this with my Plum Street? Do I show it with my pomegranates? It made the pomegranate cut. So this one is 35 count. I always stitch Plum Streets on 35, 36 count. Vintage marble from Zweigart. This one was using the called for overdries, which is very rare for me. But pomegranates, you don't mess with the pomegranates. This one I started 25th of April 23 and finished 24 June 23. I love this one. Chart's already been passed on. Look at it. Look at those pomegranates. They're very, volvular, let's call it. I love it. I think the only personalization other than errors was I changed my initial down by the house. Love it. I love how the leaves and the flower break the border, and I don't know, I love this design so much. So I had such pleasure stitching that one. And then an honourable mention, not one I stitched myself, but I received the stitched piece as a gift from my lovely friend Zeb for my 50th, and I framed it durably myself. I need to take it out and re-stretch it. It's got probably a bit loose. I picked up a frame from an op shop. I do sometimes frame things myself, you know, if they fit in a 5x7 frame. And this is, I can't remember the designer. There's some schmutz on there. Let's see if I can get that off. Anyway, and there's this beautiful pomegranate piece that Zeb stitched for me and I framed myself. Isn't it lovely? So charming. Very different style again. Love it. So yay for that. So I told lies before, including this one from Zeb and the one that I forgot to show you. I already have 5 pomegranates, but yeah, when I get the pomegranate sampler, stitched as part of my Stash Sampler Starts this year. It's the chart that's online from Susie. I will then have 6 pomegranate pieces, 5 to get framed. Can sneeze. It wouldn't be a video without me sneezing. Given that this is saying 56 minutes and I don't have that much I can cut out of it, which is a long one, I might actually not leave it till 7 p.m. tonight. I might do that now. I say that every week, but I might sit down and edit this video and get it up. And for those of you who like a long one, you're welcome. I need to stop spending money on stuff. I need to rein it in a little bit. Okay, wrapping this up. It's almost 58:40. Gonna stop it before it gets to an hour, cut it out. Good luck getting it up. Thanks for coming along. I appreciate you. Thank you for the coffee. I got a coffee purchase this week for me. Appreciate that. Details in the doobly-doo if you want to know about the projects, my whips and my, the active projects, they're in the doobly-doo. As are my contact details. Link to coffee if you're so inclined. Let me know what you think about the Victoria Sampler stuff. Wrapping it up. Yay. Yay for stitching. And as always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.